Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for joining. My name's Joni Young and I'm going to show you step by step how to paint this pretty landscape. And we're working on a 16 by 20 flat canvas board today. I'm going to list all the colors and brushes below in the description of this video. And we're beginning with a large 3-inch chalk brush, round brush with light blue violet. So I'm going to spread this around, creating big circles to start making some big clouds in the sky. I want them to be puffy. And now down here in the water, I know there's going to be some shadows, maybe some rocks underneath, so I just pulled a little bit of that blue down in the bottom. With a clean mop brush now, and you can use any blending brush or size of mop brush that you want, I'm taking titanium white and I'm going to softly blend it into areas of the blue and leaving some areas brighter than others for my clouds. I'm also going to pick up a little bit of my sky blue. It's a really light turquoisey blue, and I'm going to blend that in to my wet paint, the white and the blue violet, soften, and I'm just going to keep adding more white till I get all the clouds that I want and the brightness that I want. I've got a few different mop brushes. As these ones get really saturated with paint, it gets harder to get that soft blended look, so I'm going to be switching here pretty soon to another one. I've got one right here. It's a little bit smaller, and now I can create a few little peaks if I want that on my clouds, but I'm not really sure at this point how much I want my clouds to stand out. I kind of want it to have a really dreamy, peaceful vacation feel to it. So I might just soften this a little bit more and blend it out. I'm having some problems with my brushes today for some reason. I don't know if it's the canvas that I'm using. Maybe it's a little bit rougher. I did apply 2 coats of gesso beforehand, but the bristles are really falling out and sticking to the canvas, so every once in a while you're going to see me try to pull those off. Anyways, I'm just going to continue here with these clouds, and then I'm going to start working on the water. Now it's really nice to paint wet on wet and just keep adding my white to the wet paint, because then I get all those soft midtones. And here I'm just playing around, maybe making some whimsical looking clouds. Maybe they're going to have some swirls in there somewhere. Maybe go on an angle diagonally. It's just kind of fun to manipulate the paint around when it's still a little bit wet and experiment. So here I'm just trying to get these little hairs off. So if you have a problem with this happening, this is an easy way of doing it. You can also have some crafting little tweezers. This is just a gentler way of getting them off. So I'm going to re-soften that up after I pick them off, give it that nice blended look again, and then I'm going to switch over to a flat brush or a Filbert brush. Either one will work just fine. I've got a number 11 flat brush that I'm using, and I'm just going to soften right above the horizon with some more white, creating more of those swirly looking clouds. Taking a little bit of my sky blue now, and I'm going to add that in here, just a little hint of it. Now this sky blue looks really nice combined with the light blue violet. I find the two are really pretty together. So I'm also going to add a little bit in the clouds up here on the top. I'm now just going to clean up the horizon line. Try to tidy these lines up a little bit. They spill down into where the watercolor is going to be. And then I'm going to begin adding some white, a little bit more white. I'll slowly pull in some of my turquoise. And I'm going to cut in here with my shoreline. And the sand is going to be really, really clean and bright looking. I'm going to tint it a little bit later on with a little bit of my neon red. So titanium white and turquoise. Softly pulling my brush back and forth. Now you can go over top of that strip of light blue violet if you want, but keep in mind if you're using a lot of white, you're going to cover it. It's not see-through, but if you're using watered down phthalo green or turquoise, it'll work really, really well. So I did kind of go over it. I wanted it to look a little bit softer and creamier. I'm adding a little bit more of my light blue violet now just for a bit of a shadow and to make it look like the sand's a little bit wet as it comes up and hits the shore there, the beach. It gives us a little bit of separation and lets us know that this is the island or the beach, separate from the water. So pay attention to the different tones I'm adding to the water. Some strips are more turquoise than others, and some, like right under the horizon, is got a lot more white in it, so it's just tinted a little bit with that turquoise. So here I'm just kind of redoing my little shadow lines in the water. And then I'm going to add a few little islands way off in the distance using cobalt and phthalo blue. And then I just want to flatten them out a little bit to give more perspective, make them look farther away. So I'm just softening right above with a little bit of my neon pink, light blue violet, and white. Then I'm going to start creating a shadow below where the palm trees are going to be. And for my shadow colors, I really like to use, especially in a tropical painting, I like to use my light blue violet a lot. I'm mixing it with a little bit of white here, and I've got a small Filbert brush, and I'm just going to do a very messy looking shadow, just sort of a blob scumbling around with my brush and creating a suggestion that there's a few little palm leaves down there. Now you could take a little bit of the neon pink and mix that with your light blue violet as well. That'll give a nice tropical shadowy color. And now the reason why I like these colors in my tropical paintings for shadows is because of the turquoise. They look beautiful together. Okay, so I'm coming in with sap green and a little bit of black now. I'll be using a little bit of my neon yellow. I think I may have accidentally cropped that out of this video, but those are the colors that I'm using. So there you can see the sap green, a little bit of black, and neon yellow. I'm pulling and flicking for those little pointy palm leaves coming in the top left, and then I'm going to begin working on another palm tree or two, short little ones down here. And I'll tap a little bit for some larger leaves and different types of tropical plants. And then I'm going to use my fan brush, get it wet, and use the same combination of colors, sometimes using more black, sometimes using more water, changing it up all the time, adding highlights. And I'm pulling and flicking in both directions to create those little leaves on either side of each giant palm leaf. And you can use your brush a few different ways for this. I'm just going to continue to build this palm tree and lush tropical plant area here. And I'll have a list below in this video. I've got a whole tropical playlist. So if you guys aren't comfortable with painting palm trees yet and really want to learn how to get better, I've got so many videos. You'll be a pro after watching them, and if you have any questions, you can head over to Patreon where you can connect with me one-on-one, and I can offer you guys advice. If you have any requests of something that you'd like to learn how to paint, I take requests from my patrons. So I'm just going to continue here, pulling and flicking so those palm leaves go in all different directions. And I really love working with neon yellow. It really enhances all those greens and lush vegetation in your landscapes. It's a great little artist hack. So to get those really nice bright chartreuse greens, a little bit of white, sap green, and neon yellow. I'm going to add a few more up here. I want to pull in a little bit more color to these ones that are getting smaller towards the center of the canvas at the top. So I'm going to use a little bit more yellow up there. And I'm going to add another palm leaf right in here. And I need some more depth and shadow in these, so I'm going to go into a little bit of my Mars Black now and pull that in. Starting from the center, you want to leave like a really light colored yellow line in between where your palm leaves, like for the stem of each of them. So that's going to be bright. So there you can see I'm starting to add some of that. And I also have poured out my light grass green just to see how that would look mixed with my neon yellow, and I actually really like it. So I'm picking up all three colors, white, neon yellow, and that light grass green. So see how it really brings life to these plants, and you feel the sunlight hitting them. It gives them a shiny look and like the sun is right on them. Your paintings really will glow when you start to incorporate some neon paints into your regular acrylic paint colors. Just adding a little bit more black right at the base of these palms, a little bit of neon yellow for some little leaves, and with a clean flat number 11 brush, I'm going to apply some more shadows down here and redo this shoreline. And I accidentally just picked up a little bit of green, so I'm going to try and wipe that away and just kind of blend this out, soften it, make the placement of the shadow make a little bit more sense, having it fall right below those palm leaves. Now, a combination of cobalt blue, light blue violet, neon pink. I'm going to add that to those little islands back there. And then just clean with a nice long sweep of my brush, clean the edges on the bottom of that up. It's time to add a soft glow to these clouds, so I'm taking another clean and dry mop brush, titanium white, with a hint of neon red. And there's just a little tint of that into the white, and it makes it look so pretty. And I'm going to do the same below in the sand. Next, I'm going to take a little bit of neon red, white, and a bit of neon yellow. So I'm making sort of a bright peachy pastel color, and I'm going to add that gently over top of the clouds that I just added the neon red and white to. And I'm going to start working on the water a little bit more now with my flat brush again, a little bit of turquoise. Okay, so I'm going to start painting the windows now, these big windows that add so much character and make this painting really inviting. I'm using my flat brush again. You're going to want to use a flat brush because you want to make the straightest lines that you can. If you want to use a ruler or something to get really straight lines, go ahead. I like to approach my paintings freehand. I don't mind if they're a little bit lopsided. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm using a combination of white and black, so I'm making a gray tone, and then I'll be highlighting with white. So I'll be doing it on an angle a little bit. Picture those windows being opened up, pushed outside. They're going to be have a little bit of an angle to them. So that's the only thing I would really pay attention to, is getting your angles right. Other than that, these are pretty easy to paint. If you have trouble adding your highlights or your shadows, dry one layer first. So if you want to do your highlights first, dry your gray off or dry your white off, and then before you apply the other. So that's what took me the longest, probably, was not taking the time to dry the first layer off before beginning the next one. So it's a little bit tricky to add your highlights on top of that dark gray paint and make it show up, because it keeps picking up a little bit of that gray. And then this window frame, like we're looking right out of a window, we're inside looking out, so we're going to continue building the whole frame up one brush stroke at a time. I'm using gray, and then I'm going to follow through with highlight. And then down the left side, we're going to go on all four sides of the canvas. All right, so I'm going to begin this second window now, or second side of the window, after applying some dark at the bottom. Now you can also change your gray, tint your gray to more of a purpley blue. That would look really nice as well. Don't think that you just have to stick to white and gray for your window, for your highlights and shadows. I have a little bit of light blue violet that I add after to my shadows. So what I think is really, really cool is how quickly I was able to achieve this, and I love the way it looks. It really makes me feel like I'm inside looking out, and can you imagine what a view that would be if you could have a beachfront house or cottage? Well, that's somewhere I'd like to be right now, sipping a margarita. Now, because I enjoyed this so much, I'm going to do a series of these, 3 for sure, and I'm going to create different views. I could do a fantasy one, I could do a fall scene, I could even do a winter one. Actually, no, winter wouldn't work because you wouldn't want to open your windows in the winter time. If you guys have any ideas or requests, let me know. So I'm just going to keep trying to add my highlights and get my lines to all make sense here and join in the right places, highlights and shadows. It's a good idea to have a reference photo if you don't want to go by this, or if you want to have some different windows. There's so many photos out there. Lots to choose from. I'd also like to do a painting like this where I can see maybe some see-through kind of lacy curtains or sheer curtains flowing from the breeze. So that's something I'm kind of thinking about too. Gosh, I just have so many ideas. I've got a list a mile long of requests from my patrons and ideas I have of my own that I want to paint. So I'm just eyeballing it up there, as you can see. So I'll let you guys enjoy watching the next few, or the last few minutes of this video. I'm basically doing the same thing, just getting my shadows and my highlights just right. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Thanks for all of your support, and please join my Patreon and help support me. I'm halfway at reaching my monthly goal, and I'd be so thrilled if you became a patron today to help me be able to do what I love to do, teach you guys and paint full time. I'll leave links below for my Instagram. Come and follow me on there, and my Patreon page, more tutorials, and my Facebook art page. Have a wonderful day, you guys. Happy painting, and I'll see you next time.